Well, they really call me Lorene
Lorene?
because my mother's name was Sallie. So in growing up, when they called me Lorene, my middle name, because we didn't want two Sallies in the house, I guess.
All right, we're rolling. So let's just start out by telling me your name and where you're from, just so we can
Okay.
get that documented on
All right. My name is Sallie Lorene Soldier Rogers, and I grew up around Salina, between Salina and Kenwood. There in Mays County is where I grew up.
All right.
So what brought you here today? Why were you interested?
Well, my daughter told me that I need to bring my mom's baskets here and have them put, I call it in history, put her baskets. So she told me about it, and that's why I'm here. I brought my mom's baskets.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the baskets?
Yes, I would. Mom made baskets, gosh, ever since I can remember. I was a little kid. She always, anyway, we went with her to go collect what she made her baskets with was the buckbrush runners, off the buckbrush. So we would go with her and we'd collect them. And then when she thought we had enough, we'd take them home and Dad would start a fire. She had a big black kettle and she would put the sticks in there, with water, and then Dad would start the fire and they boiled them for a while to take the bark off, because with the barks. And so Mom had a real sharp, I call it a pear knife. So when they were boiled after a while and then she let them cool, then she had a big tin or aluminum or whatever you call it, pan that she would pour water in, and then when she took the barks off and trimmed them up with her little knife, she would stick them in that other water, and that's where they stayed until she got ready to make her baskets. Because by soaking them like that, they were real pliable and she could work with them. And so whenever she started making her baskets, oh, by the way, she did dye some. The colors, if she wanted to. First off, when I was a little kid, she used those, I think they're called pokeberries, is what she used at first. But then later on, of course, she made baskets forever. She started using that RIT dye, the store-bought dye. She started using it, but she stuck with the earth tones, browns, yellow, the browns and the oranges and a little bit of red. She used a little bit of red, and but never any of the colors that I can remember. And anyway, the same process with the dye. She soaked them and did all that. But the runners that I'm talking about, like I said, had to be soaked for a while. And when we were little, she made all kinds of baskets. She made picnic baskets. Oh, by the way, she made those to sell, and that was her income money, because we were poor growing up, so that was her way of making money, is selling her baskets. And so she made picnic baskets, laundry baskets. I can see her making waste baskets. Just anything anybody wanted her to make, she made it. I mean, I think back now and I think how talented she was to be able to make those big baskets like she did. She made those big round, I guess people use them like for dirty clothes. What do you call those things? Hampers? She made those too. And just all kind. I can't name the baskets that she made through the years. And when I was little, we had a little egg basket that was about this big with a handle, because we had chickens and we used to collect eggs in that little basket. And I have one of those out there that they're going to take a picture of. And she made magazine holders or whatever you call it. And I had a little flower vase too, but I couldn't find it, so I didn't bring it today, that she had made. It, one that come up like a fan up here with the handle. But I couldn't find it. I don't know what I've done with that one. But then she made trivets, and she made what she called pie holders, bread baskets, and you name it, she made it. I'm really proud of her because she was a talented woman, and that's why I'm here, to put her in history. She deserves it. She deserves it.
Sounds like she made a lot of baskets in a lot of different types. How do you remember how she came to making baskets or learned?
Well, her mama taught her how to make the baskets. And I wish, because when we were small, she used to set us down and make us, start a basket. But that's about as far as we got, and then we'd be off playing or something, And I never, and of course I'll regret it for the rest of my life, but I never finished a basket. I started them, but I never finished one. But now I wish I had. I wish I had.
It sounds like baskets were kind of a family ordeal. You said your dad helped and stuff. What was the family like?
Well, gosh, I come from a family of 8, so there was lots of kids running around always. We lived in, my dad inherited the old farm that my grandma and grandpa had. So we lived on an Indian allotted land, and I still have that land to this day. I've hung on to it. I told my kids, I said, if you guys ever want to sell this land, you can after I'm gone. But while I'm here, we're hanging on to that land, because there's not that many Indian allotted land left these days, because people have sold them. And so I feel like I was blessed in, getting what I have now, what I inherited from them. But we lived close to a creek, and like I said, when I was really young, I remember we had a farm. We had horses and cows and pigs and all that stuff, and we had one little cow. Her name was Betsy. She was our milk cow, and I just loved that cow. She was so sweet. She just followed us around, and I don't know, we just played with her, and she let us too, and Mom could milk that cow. Oh my gosh, she knew how to milk, but I never did learn. I tried, but I couldn't get the knack of getting the milk out of her. But boy, Mom could go to town, and she'd have a whole bucket of milk in no time. But those are good memories of growing up. And we lived close to a creek, Saline Creek, so we were there in the summertime. We were there all day long, just swimming, just having fun. The neighbor kids always came over, and we'd all go together and go down the creek. And we got hungry, we'd go home and eat, and then we'd go back down to the creek. It was a fun time. It was a fun time growing up. Everybody knew everybody, the neighbors. Most of our neighbors were Native American, they were Cherokees, so we all grew up together. So there's some nice memories there. And then we still have that place. We have a travel trailer that we have down there, that we go down there and stay. And my brother has built a house there on that property, and my sister has built a house on that property, and we just have a travel trailer because we live here now. But anyway, we go over there still. Yes.
fall in the youngest or oldest or middle?
I'm kind of in the middle, well, toward the bottom, I guess. I'm third from the youngest. I'm third from the youngest. I I had another sister uh, that her name was Rita, and in my mother's side of the family, she said that there was some white blood in our family because they never did trace it down or anything. But I had some family members that were redheaded and real light complected. My great aunt was redheaded and light complected. My two aunts, Aunt Bessie and Aunt Rachel, they were redheaded and light complected. My Uncle Jim, he was redheaded and light complected. So Mom said, they had to be down through the years somewhere, how generations go, and it came out in their generation, because of the red hair and the light complexion. But the rest of them, her other sisters, they had black hair, and and they had that olive color skin. So that's funny how that happens. But I had one sister, Rita, Mom said was redheaded when she was born. She was the only one in our family that was redheaded and light complected. I would have loved to have seen her, but I didn't get that chance because she died when she was 2, and she would have been the 5th from the youngest, because she was. But anyway. But anyway, there's 4 of us left now. All of us are gone now. My mom and dad's gone, and my brothers, 2 of my brothers and 2 sisters are gone. So now there's 2 brothers and 2 sisters, 2 of us left. So, but that's life, isn't it?
So your mom made baskets growing up. What did your dad do?
He was he was a farmer to begin with, and then later in life he worked for a doctor. He was a I don't know what you would call him, handyman, I guess you would call him. He worked for Dr. Nolan out of Salina, and then he did everything around there. They had at one time they had a salt bath. They had salt baths. I don't know if you know anything about salt baths, but back in the old days they used to have those where people would come. It was kind of like if something was ailing you, supposedly these salt baths were supposed to, help you. And he had one of those places, him and his wife. His wife was Shawnee, and she liked to go to stomp dances and powwows and stuff, and Dad would drive her. And so he was a man of all trades, chauffeur, whatever he needed to be, that's what he was. So, but that's pretty much what he did up until he couldn't work anymore, so.
You mentioned you have children.
Yes.
How many children?
I have 3 of my own. I have 2 girls and a boy. And all 3 of them went to school here at Northeastern. And now my oldest daughter couldn't get her degree in what she wanted to be in, so she had to transfer to Oklahoma State. So she finished her last 2 years at Oklahoma State. But the other ones went here. So, and then I have a niece that went to school here and graduated too. I raised a couple of nieces. That reminds me, because my younger sister died, passed away when she was young, and she left 3 kids, and so I took the girls in and raised them. So I guess I have 5 kids. Angela and Sharon. They had a brother, but my other sister took him. So anyway, but we raised her kids. So, But Sharon, she just one of them that didn't go to college, but she's the only one that didn't go. But she's doing really well right now, though. She's got a good job and a good husband who takes care of her. So she's doing real well too right now. She works at the Salina Clinic now. So she has a good job.
Are there any other remarks you'd like to make?
Any other remarks?
Yeah.
Is that what you said? Other than I look back and I think, like I said earlier, that Mom was very talented, and I know she was a remarkable woman. Of course, I don't wish her back now because she'd be, too old now, but I never knew her to make any kind of bad, say anything bad about anybody. She just was a nice woman. She, and what else can you say about your mom? I loved her. And I do miss her. But life goes on, I know. So.
Well, it was really nice to get to hear from you and about your mother's baskets.
Well, I was glad to do it. I'm glad that her baskets are going to be, in history. I'm happy about that. I'm really happy about that. I'm glad my daughter asked me to do it. So here I am.